Ludwig Wittgenstein, 1889 to 1951. So, the early Wittgenstein developed the picture theory of language and argued the purpose of language is to enable us to represent the world. I should say his only book published in his lifetime was the Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus. Okay? So, later Wittgenstein, after a lot of mad stuff, including gardening, his later work, Philosophical Investigations, which was published after his death, he argues his role is to let the fly out of the fly bottle. Philosophers resemble flies trapped in the jar of language. They are buzzing around and not really getting anywhere due to misunderstanding what words do. So he goes on to talk about the meanings of words are not something that are mystically fixed. What is more important is how a word is used. Words like wicked can be positive or negative. Or sick would probably be more appropriate for your age group. For me, sick is like, bleh. So, the main task of philosophers is to analyse the use of language. The meaning of the word is really its use. The use of language helps to create our perspective of the world. Wittgenstein saw words as tools. The question, what is a word really, is analogous to what is a chess piece. Our words are moves that we make playing various language games, like you have with your friends, and with me, and with your family. So, language games. Wittgenstein argues that language is like playing a game with rules. Within our groups, we have agreed rules about how words are used. So if I point to a table and say the word cabbage, someone will correct me, just as if I'd moved a chess piece incorrectly. Different settings and situations each have their own language games. Religious language and the statements of different religious groups are, in themselves, different language games. So, if we were to say that God allows suffering to develop our character and we will be rewarded in heaven, the statement may meet with approval amongst Christians as it fits with the Christian interpretation of the world. It's not a statement that fits within the atheistic or Hindu language games, for instance. So to suggest that the best explanation of evil is that God does not exist would not fit within the rules of their game. It's rather life... Sorry, my voice is a bit bad today. It would rather life an athlete choosing to cycle the Olympic marathon. It's not within the rules of that particular game. So, Wittgenstein and religion. Not a religious believer, he respected religion and realised it could not be analysed via the narrow criteria of the verificationists. Religion cannot be spoken of and analysed in a scientific way, as it is not the same sort of thing. Nevertheless, it gives a profound and important interpretation of human life to those who are religious. So some thinkers have suggested that Wittgenstein's ideas resemble fideism. The beliefs of religion do not have rational foundations and are removed from criticism. One thinker who opposes this direction is D.Z. Phillips. He argues that it prevents philosophy of religion as it suggests that no one who is outside the game can criticise belief. Okay? Phillips does, however, start to develop Wittgenstein's approach by arguing that some of the problems caused by religious language exist because we take the language literally. So the concept of the soul is problematic if we are looking for an actual non-physical thing at the core of our being that will survive death. So we could go on a ghost hunt. However, if we pay attention to how the word soul is used in phrases such as selling his soul and saving her soul, then the word soul seems to be a way of speaking about what is most important in life. Hence, Phillips agrees with Wittgenstein's ideas, which seems to be that religious statements cannot be understood in a literal way, but still have a profound meaning for those who make them. So these are the challenges to Wittgenstein's language games. We know there are tons. I know that there are loads. You can include extra that you know already. Language games may appear helpful to religious belief. It also removes the link between claims made with language and empirical evidence. So does Wittgenstein's view lead to religious beliefs being understood in an anti-realist manner? Clearly, many believers would claim that some statements they make are true propositions that refer to how things are empirically. However, it could equally well be argued that religious belief is an activity. It involves a way of life and a language and a manner of speaking about the world and our place in it. In this sense, it can be argued that he does capture the essence of what is to be religious. For many religious believers, religion is not a philosophical inquiry into the nature of belief, but a shared community life. So you've got your culture, identity and practices. So you've got things like baptism and Christianity and Salah in Islam. So there are certain advantages to the language game theory. It recognises the distinctive and non-cognitive nature of religious language and distinguishes it from other uses of language. Language games unite believers in a common bond and provide boundaries for the correct use of language. Believers can be initiated into the rules of language. Language games defend language against criticism from other forms of life. So, the weaknesses. Language games do not allow for believers' claims to be objectively true, because religious language is distinct from all other language. It alienates those outside the game. So who makes the rules? How can we be sure they're correctly interpreted? Can they be changed, and by whom?